Hello, I am Sami Laakso from Snowdale Design and I welcome all of you to the stream where I'm going to show you our upcoming game, Lands of Galzyr. So we're going to together, I'm going to teach the game and then we're going to play it, and as it's for 1 to 4 players, I can play it solo and you can join the game and make decisions together with me. So a short introduction of what kind of game Lands of Galzyr is. It's an open world adventuring game where you're going to play as an adventurer and you're just roaming and adventuring and taking up different challenges in Lands of Galzyr in the hopes of becoming the most prestigious, most famous adventurer of them all. Welcome to the stream, Frank, and hope if anyone can tell if the voice levels are for the music and for my voice and picture and everything is fine, that would be great, as it's sometimes hard to notice that or make sure by myself. So that's the really short introduction of the game, and we're going to go to the table and I'll explain some of the rules and then we can get playing. Let's put that back here and like so. And Frank is confirming that everything is perfect. Awesome, thank you. So here's the game board. Here's our adventure board, some cards that we are going to take a look in just a moment, and so basically the game will come with 4 playable adventures. So there's really short introductions. We have Aosela, the river kingfisher, and we played as her in our previous live stream just yesterday. So if you want to see how she plays, and you can find the video on this YouTube channel, so you can, after this stream, you might want to take a look at that. Then we have Bumir, the marbled polecat, and we're going to play either as Bumir or Keridai tomorrow. Today we're going to play as Mor. So our third one is Keridai, the northern banded newt. And then finally we have Mor, the frilled lizard, and we are going to play as him in today's demo. Some really quick things that we can see on the adventure board are, I think I can maybe show it better like this. So here we have the board. We have of course the name of the adventure here on top, an illustration over here, and then we have our gold, which could be adjusted with the spinner like this, but we start with 10 gold. Then we have these what we call skill marks. So Mor is really good right now at communication, and then we have some skills in knowledge and also a little bit in might as well, if we want to use aggression to solve some of the problems coming our way. We are not so good in thievery or perception or survival, but as we'll soon learn, we still can manage to get some successes in those as well. So let's put it here, and below it we have room for 3 items in our inventory, but we don't have any items to begin the game with. Hopefully we can find some later. Frank says that how do you decide the stats? So in the game there will be a welcoming letter, and it will instruct you to assemble these 4 adventure boards, all of these, placing the gold spinners and setting each adventure's starting gold to 10. And as for the skill marks, it also instructs you to place certain skill marks for each adventurer. So you basically can pick which one you want to play, and those are your starting skill marks. but you will be able to adjust those during the game. So even if you start the game with Keridai, and she's really good at knowledge, communication, and perception, you have the ability to shift these even to all of them to the other side of the skill wheel if you so wish. But in the game you never get more of them, so you start with 4 and then you can just adjust those if you want. There's plenty of spare ones, so you can adjust them in any way you want during your adventures. So that's the skill marks, and if you have any questions like Frank had here, just feel free to write them in the comments, and I'll happily answer them. So that's our adventure board. Then we have our adventure figure. Here's our custom wooden shape for more if it would be kind and focus. Alright. So here's our double-sided adventure figure for more, and it will show where we are on the game board. Welcome to the stream, Anton, and nice to see you, have you here again. And today, if you want, you can join the game by giving suggestions on what we should do if you so wish. We have our prestige token, which we simply place here in the 0 space on the prestige track, and it will track on how much prestige we have, and that is the goal of the game. The game can be played either cooperatively or competitively if we have 2 or more players. So the game is from 1 to 4 players. If you're playing alone, you're basically playing the cooperative version, where you're just trying to get as much prestige during a certain number of rounds as possible. And if you play competitively, then you play up as long as one player gets this target number of prestige, which is printed here on the prestige track. So it's a little bit hard to see on the camera, but here if you play with 4 players, you end when 1 player gets 6, 3 players the goal is 8, and with 2 players the goal is 10 prestige. But we ignore those as we are playing solo, basically cooperatively right now. And then during setup we place these cards on the game board, and we place the game board depending on if we are playing summer or winter month, which is shown on this month card. So currently we are playing the month June, and as you can see there's quite a lot of placeholder stuff and some prototype things, because this is not a final copy and the game is still in development. But it says that they use the summer side of both the game board and location cards. Each game each single game is thematically 1 month. So after we have played this June month, we are going to pack the game in the game box in certain way in this card trace that we have, and we are essentially saving our progress in the game box, and the next game will continue where we left off from this previous one. So we are going to save our items, quests, all kinds of stuff, and we can basically continue playing. But it will be next new month with new challenges and new things happening. And after a certain number of games, we also would flip up the game board to the winter side or back to the summer side based on where we are which month we are playing. The cards will also be double-sided, so you can place them either the summer side up or the winter side, which is not yet done, so it's just a blank white background. Also during setup we place 3 quest cards. These are in a place which we call a notice board, and these are the quests that we can pick up while we travel through the landscape, and we can then use these quest tokens to mark their positions where we can pick up them. So for example, this first one can be picked up from Arhin, and it has some flavor text like we are constantly gathering new information from the field. new inspiring researchers welcomed, signed by Arhin University, and it can be picked up from here. And these are from Arhin, and Jabbar, and I have marked them with these quest tokens on the game board. And what else? The game will require the use of a digital storybook. So I'm using a tablet over here. You can use basically any device that has a modern internet web browser. So basically a tablet, smartphone, laptop, even a desktop computer, anything that runs a web browser. And with with these mobile devices, you can also install the application into your device, like I have it here in my iPad, so I can really easily open it. And for that, I can show it also like this. So at the start of the game, we are just required to click Start New Game, and then we will tell the storybook of what month we are playing. And as I showed earlier, we are playing June in our demo right here now. So I can choose that from here, and it will randomize the starting day for us. So it randomized Tuesday over here, you can see, and I can then use the day token to mark the starting day on this calendar on the game board as well. We'll learn a bit more about that in just a minute. So basically this application, or we call it a digital storybook, book of adventures. So it's basically, as it says, it's a digital storybook. It's not a smart AI thing or anything like that. It's a storybook with bunch of different stories in it that we're going to play throughout and do some skill checks and make decisions. And we'll learn about that in just a second when we start our first story scene. Before that, I want to show these two cards to you. As I told just a moment ago, the game can be played either cooperatively or competitively. So we have these two named Discord and Harmony, and depending if we play either of those, we'll leave one of these on the table and return the other to the game box. And as you can see here on the Discord card, it says that if we play solo or cooperatively, we are asked to return this card to the global save slot. And I'll do that by returning it here. And then we have this card on the table named Harmony, and it has this blue box on it, and that's what we call a timed effect, a timer box. And it has a clock over here, the circle, and usually the clock has a number in it, but in this case it has an X, and the X is different based on the player count. So with one player, the X is 12. So we are going to take, we have a bunch of these timer tokens, and there's always two of each. So we pick one pair. So for example, I took these tortoise ones, and I'll put the first one on the calendar as many spaces into the future as shown on the clock. So in this case 12. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 on the second Sunday on the calendar, and that shows when the game ends with our cooperative game mode. And depending on player counts, we would play less rounds to finish up the game. And then we take the corresponding pair for the timer token and put it over the number like so. So now we have a reminder on the calendar on when this will happen. A single round in the game where all players get one turn each will be a single day. So we're going to slowly move this forward until we have played with solo game. We have played 12 rounds and the game will end. And this red number over here, you can see the number 200. It's a scene number in the storybook, and at the end of the game we will play that scene number 200 to grade our success, and it will show how well we did, basically. So let's place those global status cards, like for example here to the side as a reminder. So this just shows which side of the game board we are playing, and this shows when the game ends. And final things before we can start the game are our own cards. So in the tray we have save slots for all the players. So Bumir, Aisala, More, and it's upside down. So here's and then we have Keridai, and finally we have the global save slot. Don't mind the stripes, my printer was having some strokes. should be quite dark. But we have save slots for all the adventures, and whenever you start the game and you pick one of the adventures, you take all the cards that are in your save slot. So in our first game we had these 2 cards in our save slot, and Bumir similarly, for example, has 2 cards in his save slot, and so on. So you can really jump in and out of the game. There's no real there's kind of a campaign, but you can play the game as much as you like, and players can jump in from one game and out for the next one. So the game is really easy to get on the table. And for these 2 cards, the first one here is card number 0. You can see the card number here on the top right. So it's risky intuition for more, and this is more special ability. And trusting his instincts has saved more from sticky situations more than once. Getting into trouble from the exact same thing, not rare either. And with this we can basically, in a communication or perception skill check, we may discard this card by placing it back to the game box to gain a single success and reroll some, and then roll the 12-sided die and maybe get even more successes. But we'll see once we use it. But all the adventures have a single use special ability that they can use one time during the game, and then we will get it back for the next game. And all the adventures have the unique special ability. And then we have this quest card, and all the adventures have their starting quest once when you play with them for the first time. Welcome to the stream, Collider, and glad you're excited to see more Galzyr. And Anton is saying that it's a very impressive prototype. Thank you. There's still quite a lot of missing artwork, like this game board is quite bare bones. It will look a lot nicer. For example, Hesembi has no buildings drawn in just yet. We are working on the game board and of course everything else as well. And welcome to the stream. I'm sorry I can't pronounce their name because it's in Korea and I can't read that, but glad to have you on the stream. And this is the starting quest for More, and it's named Chasing Legends. You come to Galzyr to search for the hero of your favorite childhood stories. And what better way to start that than from the very beginning. And during setup we are asked to place our figure on this card, and we can't abandon this quest. Usually we are allowed to abandon any quests we have, but with the starting ones we are not allowed to do that. And here on the bottom we have what we call a scene box, and all the quests have this, and this one even is a special red scene box with a lightning bolt, meaning that it's a mandatory scene. We have no option but to take it on our turn. And we are really soon going to take the first scene from the storybook, and it's named Start Your Adventure and in number 85. So now we place the figure on the card as requested, and I think we should be pretty good to go. I'll explain more of the rules as we go. Welcome to the stream, Luciop. And on our turn, the turn has 2 phases. First we have the travel phase, in which we may move up to 2 spaces on the game board. So if I were here, I could for example move 1 and 2, as all these large locations consisting from multiple cards are treated as a single space. So I could move like that, or even I could stop here, for example, whatever I wanted to do. But in this case, we are not in Galzyr yet. We are not on the game board. We are just here on a quest card. So we are going to skip the travel phase and go straight to the story phase. And in the story phase, we simply take a single scene from the Book of Stories, Book of Adventures, and we have many options where we might want to pick the story. We could take from our quest cards. We could visit some locations on the game board. We could take a scene from the event deck, and even some other ways, but we'll explore those as we go on. And for now we're going to start with the scene 85, which is our starting quest. So let's move that aside, and going to find 85 from here. And the scenes in the Book of Adventures have a lot of the stories that we are going to read out loud, and also these options. You can see that they head into the city. Usually we have multiple options, but this is a special case in the first scene that there's only a single one. But whenever you see these options, feel free to, even before I read them out loud, you can already in the chat write what you might want to do. So now you could, for example, write in the chat like, I want to head into the city. So we can make you can make decisions in the chat with us all together. Finally, you have arrived. Your frill quivers in excitement as you peer at the distant city standing atop a series of plateaus, its mighty walls and closed-off profile reminding you of a fortress. You can barely contain yourself, imagining the stories and experiences that await you after a journey what must have taken weeks by now. Not that you didn't enjoy it, or the various diversions you partook along the way. Regardless, you are here now at Sarevar, the birthplace of your hero. And Anton is already saying that we should head into the city. Good choice. I'm going to do exactly that. On the way, you can't stop grinning, thinking about all the stories your grandma used to tell. Tales of Whitefang's adventures were always the best. He was so brave, strong and cunning to boot. Now, years later, those stories were coming to life. A rumor has it that the mysterious legendary adventurer hasn't been seen in years, decades even. No one seems to know where he's gone or even what his real name is. But that's about to change, because you are resolved to follow in his footsteps and meet your idol in person. You even brought along your treasure, your prized possession that used to belong to Whitefang himself. Then we have these non-cursive texts, like in this case we have this purple text. If we have a purple and then the person reading the story is not required to read those parts out loud, you're just required to resolve them. So in this case we're just going to move our adventure figure to Sarevar like that. Then we are going to get a random card number 100 to us from the library. And I'm sorry, I still can't don't know your name. So the Korean person is telling that there seems to be a lot of stories, and in that you are correct. So just a quick introduction on the quest, and I mean the library. So here we have it. It's going to. The game comes with 2 of these card trays. These are blank, but the final ones will be printed nicely. So we have we have new quests here at the front, and then we have cards from 0 to 50, 50 to 100, and so forth, and these dividers. So now we are going to take a random 100, so I'll gonna go here and see all the cards numbered 100, shuffle them, and then take one at random. So let's see, we have quite a lot of those. So I'm going to take them, give them a little bit of shuffling, and take one and return the rest back to the library. And afterwards I'm going to just do it off screen, so it's less painful for all of us. And what we got is the White Fangs legendary treasure, which is in this case a crowbar, and it's an item which is shown here on the top left. It's the backpack symbol. Then the card has a value of 5, and then it has some tags that we are going to learn more later. The crowbar is a pole and weapon, and it has some text stories. In many situations, a crowbar is just a tool for the job, whether it's getting a misplaced chest open or knocking someone out cold. Leveraging physical force solves issues. Well, I can't object that. And then if we choose in the storybook, if we choose something to force, we get some successes and can reroll. And then if we choose to fight, we might convert one of these sword symbols into 2 successes. We're going to hopefully learn that once we get to the skill checks. But for now, I'm going to place it here in our inventory below our adventure board. And what's next? So like here we have an example where we could, after we have read the story, we can choose to either investigate or recall, and you may now write in the chat on which of those 2 options you'd prefer to pick. You can barely keep up with the trio of polecat cubs bouncing ahead restlessly as they guide you towards your destination. They saw you at the gate, and after hearing you enthusiastically explain your visit to the guards, were eager to show you to White Fang's childhood home in the suburbs. It's amazing that his adventures could have had such humble beginnings. Perhaps that applies to you as well. "We're here," one of the cubs exclaims, interrupting your daydreaming. The house is ordinary on the outside, but the inside looks like a museum filled with memorabilia of White Fang's many adventures. Standing there, surrounded by his legacy, you can't help but close your eyes briefly and immerse yourself in his story, which feels closer than ever before. Opening your eyes again, you see the cubs looking at you expectantly. Now, how should you proceed in this pilgrimage of yours? So we have two options. We can either investigate the memorabilia, which has a skill check marked with the purple bubble next to it, and then we could recall White Fang's adventures, which is also a skill check, which has a difficulty of medium, and it's a knowledge skill check. So in the game we have 6 skills, which are marked here on the game board. We have thievery, might, survival, knowledge, communication, and perception. And these skill marks here will help us in different, if we choose to do something. These skill marks help us communicate, and they help a little bit to perceive and knowledge as well. So they are really good for their main skill, and they also help a little bit for the adjacent skills as well. So Anton suggests that we should investigate the memorabilia, and let's do that. So I'm going to click it once. So now we remember that that's what we are doing, and then for the skill checks we are going to use these skill dice. And the first thing we do is take all these black ones. So we take five of these base skill dice. And this has a single success for all the different skills in the game. So currently we are going to investigate, so we want these eye symbols for the perception, like here. So it's 1 out of 6 to get a success from one of these. And before rolling, we can change up these dice in our dice pool by swapping them out for these better ones, based on which we have access with our skill marks here. So now I can change 2 to communication skill dice, like this. And for all these colorful skill dice, they have, show it here closer, they have 2 doubles for the skill that they are meant for. Like here it has 2 communications, and it also has 2 single ones for the ones adjacent to it. So like this has 2 single perception ones and 2 single knowledge ones, as they are the adjacent skills to communication. So this is the best dice pool that we can get access to right now with our skill marks when we try something that has to do with perception. So then after we have created our dice pool, we are going to simply roll the dice and see what we got. And in this case we got 2 successes for perception, and at this point we might use items in our inventory. We might use some other statuses, like for example we could use our own risky intuition, which would give us a single success in perception or communication skill check, and then we may roll the 12-sided die to get maybe even more successes. And the difficulty of a skill check is always marked in the bubble, so it's either easy, medium or hard, and that always tells us the minimum number of successes that we want to achieve. Easy is 1, medium is 2, and hard is 3. So with easy skill check we always want at least one success, and we're currently sitting at 2. And after rolling we might use items, and we may also reroll all the dice once if we wanted to, but in this case we already have 2 successes, so I think I would not like to risk it and roll all of them just to hopefully get a 3. Welcome to the stream, Frankie. And they are saying that they love the dice idea, and it's pretty original to have them be good on the adjacent sides of your traits too. Yeah, we're really happy with how the dice system for the game turned out. It's really intuitive once you wrap your head around it, and works really nicely. So you can concentrate on some of the stuff if you want on just the skills you want, and then you have some adjacent bonuses as well. So now we are sitting at 2, and I think that's good enough. You can also suggest on what we should use, when we should use our special ability and so forth as we go on. But I think for now we are just happy with 2. So after locking our skill check, we are going to reveal the outcomes, and in this case there are different ones depending on how many successes we got. So if we would have gotten 1 more, then we would have gotten even better outcome, but now we are going to have to just be happy with the middle one. The collection on display is quite impressive. Items, maps, clippings of local newspaper articles, even a painting, all supposedly connected to White Fang one way or another. You notice that a lot of the stuff seems to be from Rienstum, which was a frequent starting point of his many journeys. You inspect the expedition carefully, living vigorously as you imagine the stories each crumble, corner or sign of where must signify. Incidentally, many items seem way too new to have belonged to White Fang. As you explain some of your findings to the curious cubs, a crowd of visitors slowly gathers around you. It seems that everyone is eager to hear more about the legendary adventurer. There's several eyes on you now, and you feel great being the center of attention. In fact, it makes the allure of shouting out your ambitions to the crowd nearly overwhelming. But there's something holding you back. call it a fleeting tingle of humility in the presence of your idol's legacy. And now we have two options. We can either declare we'll become a great adventurer like White Fang, which is a medium communication check, so we would want to get at least 2 successes to get the minimum success, or we could simply pay our respects and move on. And you're free to suggest on which option you would like us to pick. And Anton is asking, could the easy, medium and hard have more symbols so easier to remember, 1 for easy, 2 for medium, etc. For now we are wanted to keep it really simple looking, with just out of fear that if hard would have like 3 icons, it might get confusing or like cluttered. And it's after just a short while you should remember that easy, medium, hard, 1, 2 and 3, quite intuitive. And Frankie and Anton are both suggesting that we should declare, and let's do that. And so we have already our dice pool here, but we can also change one for the knowledge die, as it has some adjacent bonuses, and our crowbar does not help in declaring, which is not surprising. But we have our risky intuition, which we could use to get a single success in a communication skill check. So just want to remember that we might want to use that if we get in trouble. So let's see how well we declare our ambitions. And that's not the best roll. It's just a single success, and we're really looking for 2 with the medium one. And we could go to 2 with the risky intuition, but I think we are just going to reroll this. We have so good dice that I think we should get better outcomes. So let's go for the second roll. All right, now we got 2. And with 2 we have already the minimum, so I think we want to probably save the risky intuition for some other time when we are in more trouble. So let's stick with 2. For some reason this is scrolling the chat quite slowly. Yeah. So let's go and see 2 and between 2 and 3. Your passionate little speech is met with cheers and happy faces. Not everyone seems convinced, but they learn soon enough. Satisfied and eager to continue your journey, you begin to leave. But before you're able to, you notice the cops running to you, carrying something. We found this laying around earlier, one of them says, and we want you to have it. Tell White Fang we said hi. Alright, so we got some a gift from the cops, and we also got 2 prestige, so we'll mark it here on the prestige track. Now we're at 2, which is a really nice start. And we are asked to return the Chasing Legends card 111 to the library. So that's the quest starting card that we had. I'll place it back to the library. And then we are asked to get 1 random 200. So let's give them a quick shuffle and pick 1. Like so. And 267 as well. Let's see if I have. Yeah, it's the 267 would be the second part of our quest, but unfortunately it's not been fully completed quite yet, and we also don't want to spoil the first starting quest too much. So you'll have to learn about how Morse quest for finding White Fang. You would have to find out that on yourself. But the Cubs gave us a gift. It's a firework. Well, I think it's cool that they gave it to us, so they don't hurt themselves with it. It has a tag of smoke, and everyone appreciates striking fireworks, so at least when it's not aimed directly at them. And now if we sneak or fight, we may discard this to gain 3 successes. Really nice if we get into some kind of trouble. This is not in our inventory, just keeping it here as long we have space for it, so we can see it better once the overlay is on top. And Anton says that they love the clear gameplay, and happy to hear that. And now we have finally we just here end the scene, and then we are going to move to the next. All the players have taken their turns, so we move to the next day on the digital storybook and in the calendar as well, like so. And then we'll just start a new round, and all the players will get a single turn again. And this time we are on the game board, so we can start with the travel phase, and then after moving, we can take a single scene from the storybook again. Frankie says that they've seen the firework before. Maybe a platypus drop it. Yep, there are some things that you might recognize if you have played any of the Dale of Merchants. So now we are at Sarevar, and we could move up to 2 spaces. We should have a quest card which is continuation for our starting quest, but as I said, we don't want to spoil it for you. So we are left without any quests, and quests are the best way in the game to gain prestige. So we probably want to go after one of these. So you can see that 2 of them are in Arhin and 1 is in Chabar. So to have wishes if we should go shortest way to Arhin to pick up 2 quests, or if we want to go to the closer one, Chabar, to get that one. We could also visit some of the places in Sarevar. There are Metal Factory, Market, Museum and City Park. But if you don't object, I think we might just go to Chabar to pick up the quest here. Chabar's quest says that someone with knowledge of property business needed. A pretty face is a plus, and it's signed by Result Keribas. And I think we all agree that Moore does have quite a pretty face. So and Anton also said that Chabar is closer, so let's go there. So let's move 1 and 2. So now we are close there, and if we can't take any other scene, or if we don't want to take any other, we'll draw the top card from the quest deck, and it will have a list of scenes printed on it, and we will simply pick the first scene from the top to bottom, which fits our current location or situation. So first one is Monday. It's Wednesday, so we're not going to take that scene. And then it's settlement. We are not in a settlement. Grassland, forest, hill, mountain, and we're in a forest, so we'll take the scene 54 marked here. And we're going to leave the event card on the table for the duration of the event. So 54 from the quest, from the book. And again, now it's again like purple, so I'm not required to ask it out loud. I'm the person reading the stories is just going to look through the library in this case and check if 282 is available, and it is. So I'm going to click yes. You're making your way through the woods when you hear a faint meow. When you hear a faint, desperate mewing noise coming from somewhere nearby. A short investigation reveals that the cries are coming from a copse of nearby trees. Trekking over, you see an orange cat yawning on a branch near eye level, but the sad mewing is coming somewhere above you, near the treetops. The orange tabby peers lazily at you under the brim of his hat, curiously as to why you disturbed his nap. Kenzie is at again. Little Rotter loves to climb, coming down on his own, not so much. I've tried to teach him to only go as high as he has courage for, but you know kittens. The cat does an enormous, very satisfying looking stretch, ignoring the piteous mewing coming from above as he scratches behind his ear and goes back to sleep. I'll owe you one if you get him down for me. And now it's asking us if we have a toy tag, and on our adventure board we have bolster and unfold, and on our items we have pole, weapon and smoke. Firework is definitely not a toy, neither is crowbar, so we are going to have to answer no to this question. And now we have three options, and you can again make suggestions on which of these you might want to pick. So we can either climb the tree to rescue Kenzie, which is medium survival. We are not too good at that. We can try to convince Kenzie to come down, which we are a lot better, but it's hard skill check, so we need at least 3. Or we can just leave the scene, and none of our items help with climbing or convincing. So we are just with our skill marks and dice, and risky intuition would help us if we choose to convince Kenzie to come down. Anton says that the game has a very similar feel to Near and Far, but they really appreciate that it concentrates more on stories, and that was lacking in Near and Far. Yeah, I have played Near and Far myself, and this is like our creation of doing everything quite a lot differently based on what we found a little bit lacking in that game. Anton is saying that we should try to convince, even though it's a little bit risky. So let's pick that one, and this is the dice pool already here that we are going to try to convince Kenzie to come down. Well, I think we're happy with 5 and not going to reroll those and saving the risky intuition for later, because it's hard to get more than 5 with those dice. So let's see how convincing we were. We got the best possible outcome. You quickly locate the cream-colored kitten on one of the highest branches and shout encouragements up to him. With your dazzling charisma, you soon have him convinced he's a champion climber, talking him over every step and leap. From the bottommost branch, Kenzie jumps to the orange cat's arms, he's purring almost as loud as his previous meows. He's more confident going up than coming down, though aren't we all? The orange cat hugs Kenzie before placing him on the ground. I don't believe I ever introduced myself. Call me Eddie. We are more than glad to join your adventure. I'll hang around as long as Kenzie's needs are satisfied. A tap on your leg reveals Kenzie, who passes you a small item. Seems like you made a new friend. You truly impressed him. So we're given card number 31 and card 282. And then here we have card 31, which is the gift from Kenzie. We got a charm which has tags lucky and relic. Some believe in luck and fortune. Some want to forge their own destiny. Confidence or lack thereof matters more than you might assume. And if we sneak, force or climb, we can use this if we want to and roll the 12-sided die, and based on the results we either get a single failure which reduces our number of successes, or we get 1 success, or even might get 2 successes. So let's move the stuff a little bit so we get more room in our inventory. Should still be able to see the status card, and our inventory is full. And if we get more cards, we are forced to discard one of them. So we probably want to use the firework as soon as possible if we sneak or fight to make room in our inventory. And the other card we got is the 282, and that's Eddie and Kenzie themselves. Has 2 tags, Night Vision and Adorable, and a felling duo. Eddie clearly being the more collected one, while Kenzie is mostly interested in having played old fun. And we get 2 successes in all perception skill checks as long as they are with us. And this should be the green one with a star, but it's an old card and haven't printed it again, so it's just I have to remember this is the success. And also if we climb, we may reroll up to 2 dice and delay this by 2, so it has a timed effect, 4, and they will leave our side after 4 days. But if we manage to climb, we will delay the timed effect, and Eddie and Kenzie will stay a bit longer with us. Let's place them here, and I think I know what, just the marks we want, the timer tokens. So here's the Ocelot timer tokens. First one goes 4 days into the future. So if we don't manage to find anything to climb to satisfy Kenzie's needs, they will leave our side on Sunday. But if we do, they can be with us a little bit longer. So that goes here. And then that's the end of this scene. We are going to move to Thursday and here as well. And then it's a new day, so we'll continue our journey toward Jabar, and we move 1, and we still have another move left, but we can, even between moves, we can draw pick up quests from the quest notice board, and it's a Jabar, so we're going to pick this one. And as soon as we do that, we are going to refill the notice board back to 3. So placing new one, and it's also in Jabar, so why not? Let's pick that one as well. We have room for 3 quest cards in our possession, and then a new one. And what? It's actually Arhin, so this is really rare, but all the remaining quests must be resolved in Arhin, or not resolved but picked up. So the first one that we picked was someone with knowledge of property business needed. A pretty face is a plus, and signed by Resort Keribash. And it's an estate adventure. Gemset is threatening our independence. We are going to purchase land from Sarevar to put pressure on Duke Ikavir. The problem is, they'll never let us purchase property from the upper class district by ourselves. That's where you come in. Sirin waits you at Sarevar. Signed by Tever, the Erusian Polecat resort owner. So it has a scene, arrived to upper class number 96, but we would have to be at Sarevar to resolve it. So if we want to pursue this quest, we would have to return to Sarevar. Let's place those like that, and quest here, for example. And now we can return the event also to the bottom of the event deck to make more room for us. And the second one is an inquisitive but insuspicious person needed, signed by Sawmill Toplog. And it's a quest named Smoldering Wood. A lynx named Hilemo tried to set my sawmill on fire. He failed and is now in prison. I suspect he was hired by Janka, the previous co-owner of my sawmill. Find me the evidence for this. Guards are not interested in helping me. Janka is running a business in Yedsden. Signed by Rowan, the owner of Toplock Sawmill. And with this we could visit Janka's firm in Yedsden. So now we can we can stay in Chabar, we can pursue this smoldering wood by going closer to Yedsden. We could end our turn here, we have one move left, or we can, if we want to get closer to Sarevar for estate adventure, we could move back one step. And let's remove that as we're not, there's no more quests to pick up from Sarevar. I mean Chabar. Or we could even stay here and visit the market or hot springs. It's up to you what you would like to do. Anton asks, could we use the last move and go back to the forest we came from? And yep, correct, we could do that. Or move closer to Yedsden, which would get us also closer to Arhin if we are pursuing these quests here. So it's really up to us what we want to do. Go closer to either of these or stay in Chabar and visit some places there. Anton says, sure, we can go to Yedsden. Alright, so let's continue one step here. So on the next turn we can go to Yedsden. And again we're going to draw the top card here and see the scenes on it. So it has Saturday and it's Thursday right now, and then the forest one is 207. 207. Along a forest road, a mount without a rider runs towards you. You stop the animal from passing you and calm it down from whatever startled it. Its saddle, with bits of branches and twigs mangled into it, has the emblem of a courier service that works throughout Galzyr. Someone might have fallen off their mount and might be looking for it, or in need of help. Should you try to find them? And it asking us, do we have a loud tag? And none of our items have loud tag, and neither Eddie and Kenzie. Even though Kenzie did make quite a loud meowing in the previous scene. But no, we do not have. And we are asked if we have a mount tag, and the answer for that is no as well. We have three options. We can either explore the area to find the rider, which is hard survival. We are not too good at that, and none of our items help us to explore. Or we can try to figure out what happened here. None of our items help with that either, but it's a little bit easier and we do have better dice. Not for that. And Eddie and Kenzie only help with perception and climbing, and this has neither of those. So I would be inclined to try to figure out what happened here, unless we are greedy and just want to keep the mount ourselves. That's one option as well. Anton asks how many story passages there are in the storybook. So currently we have 300, but the final game will have something around 350 or around that. But a huge number of stories, and we estimate that you can play about 12 games, so a full year, without seeing pretty much any duplicates at all. And that's with 2, 3 or 4 players, but with one player you could play even more, because you play a little bit fewer scenes per game if you're playing alone. And we have 2 votes for figuring out, one from Frankie and one from Anton. So let's try to figure out what happened here. And for that we are going to use the dice already in the dice tray. And we are looking to get at least 2 successes. And this is none, so I'm going to reroll all of them to hopefully get the 2 needed. And that's communication, and that's still nothing. Nothing we can do to get any more. So we are sitting at 0. That's really unfortunate with the dice we had, but it happens. Branches, empty saddle, startled mount. You have no idea what that could mean. More is just rolling his eyes. After a while, a polka guard comes down the road and sees you with the mount. What's going on here, courier? Why are you out of uniform? You explain what happened. Couriers never abandon their mount. They must be somewhere nearby, likely injured. Taking the mount's reins, the guard tells you she will handle the situation. You've done your part here. Move along on your business. You leave down the road, bummed that the rider is somewhere nearby in need of help, and you couldn't help. And we are given a card number 57 from the library, and that's the end of scene. And here's 57, named Disheartened, and it has tags worried and weary. With a heavy heart, your mind isn't as sharp as it should be. Mental tasks are highly taxing right now. So in knowledge, communication and perception skill checks, we get 1 failure, reducing our number of successes, and we are going to be disheartened for a few days. Let's return the drawn event card, move the quest a little bit higher and place this here, and let's find 2 identical timer tokens. So one goes 3 into the future on Sunday. So we're going to stop being disheartened when Eddie and Kenzie leaves our side, unless we manage to find a climbing spot for Kenzie. Then we move to Friday here and here, and now we're gonna, as planned, we're gonna continue our journey toward Jetsten. It has temples, gardens and a market that we could visit, or we can resolve our quest Smoldering Wood, where we could visit Janka's firm. Do you have wishes on which of these 4 options you would want to take? And while waiting for the responses, I'll quickly introduce this assisting symbol, which is on many of the quest cards here in the scene box. And if it has one of these, if there's another adventurer with their figure in the same space on the game board as we are, they could assist us, lending their gear, their items, their skill marks, their statuses and companions to us during the event, scene. So basically we could join our forces, and usually they would also get rewarded if we succeeded. It can be done both in cooperative and competitive game modes. So if you're a little bit behind on someone, you might want to join up a little bit to try to catch up. But with playing with solo, there's obviously no assisting. Anton recommends us to resolve the quest, so let's do exactly that, and it's the visit Janka's firm 143. Here we go. Following your only lead, you make your way to alluring shrubs and herbs Janka's company. It is a fairly small building located some way off the city center, and, as one might have guessed, seems to deal in spices and various flavors of ornamental plants. Wondering if you should just slip in and look around, you peek inside the front lobby. It seems quite busy. There's an aardvark clerk behind the counter, a number of customers, and a couple of workers hurriedly carrying boxes to and from a door to the side. Surely enough, a placard on the door says that they're hiring. Perhaps that's your way in. Alright, we can either try to get a job in Janka's company, alluring shrubs and herbs, or we can try to sneak inside the building, which would be medium thievery, which would otherwise be quite hard with our dice, but if we are willing to sacrifice our firework, we could make a huge distraction with it and get 3 successes for the sneak, and we could even try use our charm if we wanted. It also helps with sneaking. But Anton is suggesting us to try to get the job in Janka's company. So we can definitely try to do that. You march in and tell the clerk that you are here for the job offer. He sizes you up curiously before leading you through a curtained door behind the desk. Inside you find a lynx sitting behind a large wooden desk amidst rows of plants and boxes. She gestures you to sit and introduces herself as Janka before shooing the lingering clerk back to work. From the nosy look on his face, you're sure that he'll be listening behind a curtain. Business has been blooming lately, Janka says after a while, gesturing at her cramped office. She looks at you apprisingly before continuing. I might indeed have work for you. Happen to have any skills or prior experience in our field? Do we have a training tag? We do not have that. And now we have 2 options. We can either recall our cultivating skills, or we can convince her that we are a nice person. But because we are disheartened, it will give us a single failure in both knowledge and communication. So both of these are a little bit hard for us within our current mental state. And none of our items help with recalling or convincing, but our risky intuition can help us with convincing. And Frankie suggests that we should convince. Alright. And are those our dice? Yes, they are. And Eddie and Kenzie also would help us in climb and perception, but this is in neither of those. Anthony saying that more is very nice. Let's see if we can convince Janka the same. And that's 2. Now it's a tough decision. Do we want to reroll to get maybe more? Do we want to use risky intuition? It always gives us a single success, but we can reroll this as many times as we want to, and with 4 or more we always get 1 more, but if we got 1, 2 or 3 we lose 1 success. Anton is asking, do the easier tasks have lower penalties if failed? It really depends on the case. It's case by case basically, and you should be thinking about the situation of what might happen if you fail. So it really depends on what you're doing, on how risky it is. Sometimes something can be easy, but you can deduce that if you still fail at it, it might have a bad outcome, and sometimes the opposite. But it really depends on what's the thematic in the story. Anton is suggesting to use the card. So with risky intuition, we get a single success immediately. So right now we are at 3, and because of disheartened, it lowers us back to 2. So now we can reroll this as many times as we want to get more successes if we want. and with 4+ we get more, with 1, 2 or 3 we lose 1. So should we be happy with just 2, or do we want to risk it and just go for it and basically lie our way in? Do we want to trust our risky intuition? We only get 1 shot with this card, and then we can only use it in the next one again. So I would be maybe leaning towards just trying our best to get as many successes as we can, even with the risk of failing and losing all. Frankie asking if do we get the reroll if until we get 1, 2 or 3. Yes, we get a reroll as long as we get 4 or more, and the failure is with 1, 2 or 3. Here's the close up of the effect. So with 1, 2 or 3 we get a failure and we stop rolling, and with 4 or more we get 1, and we can then continue rolling as much as our heart desires. Yeah, Anton is saying roll the dice. So let's see how much more we can get. So we are currently at 3 minus 1, so I'll stick my fingers. We are at 2 currently. Let's see, Frank is saying go big or go home. Yeah, so now 2, and that's 9, so that's 1 more. We are at 3. A little bit more. Ooh, it was so close to being 3, but it's an 11, so we are at 4. And that's 12, we are at 5. Let's go for it. And that's 5, so we are at 6. Now my fingers have to start a new loop. And that reduces 1, so we are now at 5. Well, that's how that worked. Let's return that to the library and see what we get. And with 5 we get the best possible. Janka should be really convinced that we are extremely nice. Listening to yourself speak, you can't help but be swayed by the supremely personable and capable character you portray. Are you actually like that, or is it all an act? Nevertheless, Janka looks equally smitten and soon nearly begs for you to work for her, saying that you're exactly what her company needs. She even pays you some upfront if you'd be so kind as to start right away. Alright, we got 3 gold. Let's mark it on our board. We're sitting at 13 right now. And if there would have been a partner, they would also get 3 gold, but there was no partner in the scene. Despite the rush, Janka's company seems a pretty nice place to work at, almost nice enough to distract you from your objective. Biding your time, your chance presents itself as Janka starts to leave for lunch. We have 2 options. We can either chat with the workers about Janka, medium communication, or we can search the office hastily. And our items do not help with either, and this hardener does make both of these 1 step harder. But Eddie and Kenji do give us 2 successes for perception, so if we go and search the office hastily, Eddie and Kenji will get us 2, basically minus 1, so we're at 1 and we would need 2 more for the hard one. And Anton is suggesting to chat about Janka with the workers, so would not lean towards searching with Eddie and Kenji, which I was hoping to pick just because we have such keen eyes with us helping. Anton says she seems nice too. Well, let's see what the workers have to say about Janka. If that's still what you wish to do. I think it is. There's a slight bit of delay in the stream between me and the chat. And this is our dice pool for chatting. Now we can't trust our risky intuition anymore. We are exhausted from bluffing so much. Oh, that's 4, and even with getting a single minus from disheartened, we're still sitting at 3, which should be enough, and I don't want to reroll those as it's quite unlikely to get more than 4 from those. And sometimes, here's an example that the skill checks might even ask for a different one. So now if we would have gotten a perception like this, we would pick the first outcome from the left. So we would pick the one with the perception, but as we did not get that, we are going to pick the 2 to 3 as we got 1 minus from here. Otherwise we would have gotten the best possible outcome for this. You chat up the workers and nimbly guide the conversation towards Janka. Turns out they have quite a bit to complain about. Notably, the old kangaroo who oversees the warehouse has grievances regarding her carelessness. Just a couple of weeks back, she looked over the warehouse while I had a day off. And when I came back, my inventory was all messed up. Can you believe it? A whole barrel of lamp oil was missing. When the day's over, you snatch up the warehouse inventory before leaving. We get 1 prestige, so we're at 3 right now. And then we also are asked to return the smoldering wood 1 for the 8, and we are given 251 as a replacement. 252. And if there would be a partner, they would also get a prestige. And here's 252. It's the second part of Smoldering Wood quest line. After visiting Janka's firm, you have collected enough evidence. Janka is indeed guilty of sending Hilemo to burn down the Toplog sawmill. You should report to Edrosia in the office of the sawmill. And the sawmill is in Chabar, and there we can meet Edrosia if we choose to return there. And our estate adventure is in Sarevar, so our quests are pulling us towards Chabar and Sarevar, and the notice board is pulling us towards Arhin. But that's Friday, so let's move to Saturday here as well as in the storybook. Frank is saying that Janka is the final boss of the campaign. She's evil. We'll see about that. Do you have wishes on what to do? We could visit some places in Yetsten, temples, gardens or market, or we could start walking towards Arhin or towards Chabar and Rienstu. All of those options are available. If we want to visit some places in the Yetsten, it has temples, gardens and a market that we might visit if we wanted to. Anton is suggesting to go towards Arhin. And Frank is saying we should walk to Arhin. It's pretty far and we got a lot to do. Yeah, we can go towards Arhin to pick up new quests, but then we'll just have to leave these two aside for now, as they are in Sarevar and Jabbar respectively, so they have to wait a little while. So let's go here and here. We are in Grasslands space, and the top card from the event text shows Friday and Saturday, so that doesn't happen, and we're going to pick the Grasslands 157. 157. While you tromp down a dirt road running alongside a wheat fields and farmhouses, you hear distant sobbing. Tracking it to its source, you peer into the open doors of a nearby barn. Rummaging through a massive pile of loose hay is a crocodile, widely weeping. "My grandfather gave it to me. It is erasable." Godspeed. You ask him to explain everything. "I'm Ibarani and I lost my favorite pin. It holds my cape in place." He moans, tugging at a cape limply hanging off of him. "I dropped it in its haystack. I asked the other workers to help me find it, but the overseer said he would dock their pay if they wasted time helping me." Unfortunately, we do not have a magnetic tag. We have three options. We can either search the haystack, which is unknown difficulty. We don't know how hard it is to find the pin from there, but Eddie and Kenshi would give us 2 successes for searching with their keen eyes, and this harden would give us a single failure for that, and our items do not help us with searching. Or we could just simply pay the workers to help us, paying them 4 gold, and we are sitting at 13. 20 gold is the maximum, so we could do that. Or we could just leave the crocodile crying his crocodile tears. And Frank is saying that they would hire the power of money. And Anton asking, we do have a lot of money, so so hire some help. Let's do that. And whenever an option costs money, we simply rotate the game board to show our new total before picking it, so to 9. And we can't pick any of those options if we can't pay for them. Arousing nearby workers to assist in the hunt for the pin, several pitch in when you offer payment for their help. With the workers, you meticulously search the stack until one of the workers holds up an old metal pin. Ibaran excitedly claps, "That it is!" You pay the workers and they return to their duties. Before you can go, Ibaran insists he must reward you with a healthy lunch and by giving you an item. "It belonged to my grandfather as well, but it could help you out." So we're given card number 30 and 58. And that's the end of scene. 30 is the gift they gave us, a pirate belt, a relic, and the shores of Galzyr were once one of the most perilous areas to live. Times have since changed, but folks still shiver with the mention of Tuatara pirates. And if we intimidate, we get 1 success and reroll up to 2 dice, or if we climb, we can discard this to get 1 success and reroll up to 2 dice. Now is the tough decision if we want to replace one of our items with the pirate belt, or throw away one of, or just discard the pirate belt instead. So while you ponder about that, let's see the next card. So we can either discard crowbar, firework, charm, or the pirate belt. The 58 is vigorous, and so full of energy that you find it hard to stay still, searching for ways to exhaust your vigor somewhere. And if we travel, we may discard this to get one additional movement, or if we are exhausted, we may discard this to return it to the library. Or if we force, intimidate, or run, we can also discard this to get a single success. Let's place it, for example, here. Frankie is asking what is charm. So if we sneak, force, or climb, we can roll the d12, and based on the result, we either get one failure or one or two successes. It's more likely to get successes than fails. Anton is saying, giving a thumbs up to discarding the charm. So we can do this, that, and return the 31 charm back to the library. And then we move to Sunday on the storybook and in the calendar as well. And now we're met with timer tokens, so we're going to resolve them. So this lemur is in disheartened and it says discard, so we're going to return that to the library. And the same goes for this ocelot icon, which is on Eddie and Kenji, and also discard them. Unfortunately, we could not find any places for them to climb on, so the Kenji is getting bored and they will leave our side. But at least we are not disheartened anymore. There. Frank is saying that they love charm in Dale of Merchants, but let's get rid of it. I like it here as well quite a lot, but we have to make tough choices on what we want to keep. Return that to the bottom, and then we can either stop at Rienstum to visit some of the places. There are Wishing Well, Docks, Arena, Market, Convention Center, and Casino. We can visit one of those places, or we can move 1 and 2 here, and on the next turn 1 and 2 here to arrive to Arhin. If we stop here, we can still move in one turn to Arhin if we are willing to spend or discard the vigorous to do so. Frank is saying Casino, so why not? Let's Anton is asking what's the ability in Arena, and Casino sounds good too. Arena has just this partner icon on it, so we could go there together with another adventure if we are playing with 2 or more players. And what happens in there, you'll just have to find it out yourself, I think, because right now we're going to the casino here, and that's 26. As you enter the acclaimed Rienstum Casino, a Macau clerk in a bow tie greets you from behind a counter. He kindly informs you that one must change a modest sum of gold for playing chips to get inside. Alright, so we can either pay the entrance fee or leave the casino. And, well, we do have the money, and I think we wouldn't be coming here if we weren't willing to pay up a little to get some fun done. So we are at 9, so we will go down to 6. After handing a few gold pieces to the Macau, he takes down your name and hands you some playing chips. Making your way to the casino proper, you are assaulted by a nearly overwhelming cacophony of sights and sounds, even smells wafting from a nearby bar and its patrons. The luxurious hall is filled with animated folks betting their possessions on various games of fortune and the tantalizing riches they promise. You are approached by a fennec fox dressed in a staff uniform. The fox smiles at you amicably. What matters is not the game you play, but the excitement and the chance to score big. Do we have a fancy tag? We do not have fancy. We have Boaster, Unfold, Pole, Weapon, Smoke, Relic, Restless and Upbeat. So that's a no. We can either join a table with card games, which is a medium perception skill check. Not too impossible for us to get. Unfortunately, Eddie and Kenzie would be really good at playing cards, but they just left our side. Or we can simply join a table with dice games. Which one would you like to pick? Dice games do not have a skill check involved, but card games do have one. And as said, none of our items help with any of that. If we do want to play card games, it would be with those dice. And we have 2 votes, both from Anton and Frankie, for dice games. So let's go there. And we are asked to roll the 12-sided die. Alright, let's hope the luck is on our side. 6, not the worst one, but I was hoping for something better. You make a couple of nice rolls and get to add a modest amount of chips to your pile. Soon enough, you realize it might be wise to quit while you're still ahead. Well, we got 8 gold, so we are going to... we were at 6, so we're going to 14. At least we ended up getting more than we started with. We are now 14. And that's that. I'm going to Monday. Both here and on the game board as well. And now we can start going towards Sarevar to do estate adventure, or we can go towards Arhin to get quests. We're gonna go to Arhin in a single turn if we use Vigorious to basically run there, and to Sarevar we could go, for example, first here and then to Sarevar in 2 turns if we use Vigorious to do that. And Frank is saying that we would run to Arhin to get there this turn. Alright, so let's return Vigorious 58 over there, and then we can run all the way here, and we are at two quests, so we can start with one. Let's see what we have. We are constantly gathering new information from the field. New inspiring research is welcomed. Signed by Arhin University. Whoops. So it's a quest named Reach for the Stars. The stars and the night sky have excited my imagination since I was just a little owlet. I've sent the new university students to observe the constellations from a nice plateau just north of Rienstone. They could definitely benefit from your help. Signed by Sovard, Professor of Astronomy at Arhin University. If we want to resolve this, we would have to go 1 space north of Rienstone. So it would be over here. And that would take like 1-2 turns to go there. And now we're going to fill up the notice board again. It's Sarevar, so let's put one reminder there, and remove one here. And then we can also pick up even more just to see what they are, and then we can abandon back to tree. This is signed by Karimia. I came to Galzyr for a little vacation. I have everything already well planned and would love me some company. There's a famous theater in Hesembi I desire to visit. So this is Karimia's vacation, and if we keep this, we are going to get card 280, and we would have to go to this route marked in the card towards Hesembi. Unless we find out some faster way to go there. But if we leave this route, Karimia would leave our side and we are forced to abandon this. So do you want to... We have options to go here to reach for the stars, or we can move towards this route here to Hesembi, unless we find out the faster route, like for example perhaps by boat. And that would be Karimia's vacation. Well, I can take the 280 for us. That would be Karimia himself. And he's a Gila monster, toxic nibbler. Karimia's biting affection is as cute as it is painful. So that would be here. And I think Jabbar is really far, so maybe abandon the smoldering wood. Or Sarevar is also really far, let's abandon the estate adventure. And when abandoned, we simply do whatever is written here next to the sad ocelot at the bottom. So in this case, place on the notice board. So I'll place this here and place a reminder that it can be picked from there. And we can take a peek at the final card as well. An important person of Gemset is missing. A job for a highly discreet and trustworthy individual is offered. Royal bodyguard. It's a runaway prince. I'm in the charge of the royal family of Gemset safety. The Crown Prince Jano is currently a student in the Arhin University. The Steppe polecat has fled secretly to Rienstum. Please take this picture of him and make sure he returns without revealing his identity. Signed by Odasak, the striped polecat royal bodyguard captain. And it would go, we would have to resolve it in Rienstum. So now we have options to go resolve over here, in Rienstum, in Jabbar, or in Hesembi. And if we do go basically anywhere but this route, we would have to abandon Karimia immediately, because it's not part of his vacation to go anywhere else. And yeah, at least earlier Anton said that let's go to Hesembi, and if we want to do that, I'll abandon one of these. Let's say, for example, the runaway prince, and it says place back to notice board. So now we have Sarevar, Jabbar, Arhin. Sarevar, Jabbar, Arhin, so the marks are in correct places. And with Karimia, we are going to take 2 timer tokens again. It has a number 2 on it, so it goes here on Wednesday. And when the timer token reaches that point, we would have to roll the 12-sided die, and depending on the results, we either get 52, 53, 54 or nothing, and this gets delayed by 2, so it will happen again and again between always after 2 days. Alright, so do we want to start walking towards Hesembi, or do we want to take a boat? Currently we are in Arhin and we have already moved on this turn, so it's now our story phase. We can either visit the market, create library, docks, or we can take event and take the settlement event from there. So we have, those are the options available for us at this moment. In the market we would probably sell some stuff or purchase something if we need it. Well, quite nicely equipped already. In the library, probably read some books. Not sure what that would do. Or we could go to the docks. Anton says that market sounds good. Alright, so we're going to visit the market in Arhin. And that's number 18. Which is here. The bustling market of Arhin's... Oh, there's some repetition. Should we fix this? The bustling market of Arhin is nestled by the northern gates and seems to have a bit of everything for sale. What are you looking for? Do we look for weapons and camping equipment, books and apparel, or miscellaneous gadgets? I'll just make a quick note to fix the typos in scene 18. Anton and Frank is both saying gadgets, of course. Plenty of fascinating gadgets to be found in the city of experts and innovation. So we're going to take card number 201 and 3 random 200s. So let's give these a quick shuffle and take 3 of those. And then we can purchase any of these 4 items, and we can also sell our current ones for half of their value, rounded up. So we have 14 gold, these are valued 5, 5 and 6. And what we got here, we got a grappling hook, which could help us in climb and force, and if we climb there's a 50% chance that we have to discard the grappling hook. Then we have a spyglass, and the grappling hook would cost 6. Spyglass helps us observing, exploring and sneaking. Then we have marbles. Sorry for the bad print quality on this card. It would help us in sneaking and fighting. And finally we have assorted gear, and if we purchase this one we can swap up one of our skill marks for a perception or thievery skill mark. So what would we like to purchase? The assorted gear is 4, marble is 3, spyglass is 6, grappling hook is also 6. And we would have to sell something to make room if we get anything but the assorted gear, which lets us swap stuff around on our board. So here's, I'm trying to show them as well as I can. So something, Anton is saying the last one, and I think it's the last item or the last card. Last card is the assorted gear. Well, we have money for both if we want to, so let's purchase this one, and that would be 4 gold, which will leave us at 10, and with that we can change up one of our skill marks here to one of these. And maybe we want some thievery. We can either perception or thievery, and Then do we want one of these as well? We could purchase something. Let's take one of these thievery ones, as there's a small. Yeah, Frank is saying let's get thievery like that, and let's remove the knowledge. We don't need that, but we still want people to get. We want convince. We are really nice guys, so I don't want to get rid of those just yet. But as you can see, you can slowly shift your character to be just the way you want to play them. So that's the assorted gear, and we can then save our money or get one of these. It wouldn't cost too much because we could sell one of our previous items and replace it with one of these. So we'd have to pay just a few gold to do that. Observing, climbing, forcing, sneaking. A lot of sneaky stuff here. Like, for example, we could replace the firework with the grappling hook or something, or the crowbar if you don't want to force and fight. The belt does help us climb, but only once. Once it's used for climbing, it will have to be discarded, as over here. So we are using it kind of like a makeshift rope, and it's going to be left hanging wherever we used it. So we already have some climbing stuff. I think the spyglass would give us most new stuff, gives us observe, explore and sneak, and we only have sneak in fireworks, but we do not have observe or explore at all. So maybe replace fireworks with spyglass would give us quite nice statistics, and so let's do that so we can continue. Sadly, we did not get a chance to fire it, but at least we get 3 gold from it. So this costs 3, gives us 3, cost 7, so only cost 4, leaving us with 6. All right, so we have a crowbar, spyglass, and pirate belt, and I'll return the rest to the box. My cat is making appearance. That's end of scene. Going to Tuesday over here, and same here. And then I think we're going to start moving towards Hesembi, as we have Karimia with us, and he's dictating the route on this quest card to be this one over here. So let's move 1 and 2 here to the forest, and I was planning not to play quite a full game, but we're going quite fast, so I think you will really want to see the Karimia's vacation, and it would be like 1, 2, 3 and 4 turns, so I think we might even play a full game just to see the Karimia's vacation plan out. Here's our event card, and we asking if we are exhausted. We are not, so we're taking the forest one, 244, as we are in a forest space over here. 244. And this is a little bit unfinished, so I'll just cheat a little bit and pick the next one, and it's 217. While you are heading through the woods, the sound of cracking twigs and muffled curses raises your curiosity. Probing deeper into the woods, you hunt for the source of the sound. As you look around the tree where the ruckus seems to be emanating from, you are met by a muzzle of a blunderbuss. Behind it is an old gruff badger, bearing fangs and dressed in the worn-out remains of a Galzyr military uniform. At his feet is a sack of gold and the twisted charred remains of a pistol that misfired. The left leg of his pant is redded and burned, the fur under it stained red. Now you best take a step back and go on your way, youngin. What can you do so he will not shoot you in the face? Do we have a cumbersome tag? We do not have that. We have 3 options. We can inspect the badger's wounds, medium perception. We are a little bit better at that with our thievery right now. Or let's see if we have, and if we have first aid, the inspect would be a little bit easier, but we do not have first aid. We can try to intimidate the badger, and Karimia would give us a single success for that. Our pirate belt would give us a single success in intimidation, and we would have quite nice dice. And Frankie and Antoinette both saying intimidate. Alright. So those are the dice. We do no longer have the knowledge die for communication. That's 2 and 3 from Karimia and 4 with the pirate belt, and the pirate belt also gives us 2 rerolls, single dice rerolls. So I'm tempted to do that instead of rerolling everything, because we already got that. We might want to reroll everything, but we could also just reroll both of these with the pirate belt. So let's reroll just these 2. Oh, that went away. So we are still at 4. I think we are happy with that. Even now we could make the full reroll if we wanted, but we have a intimidating pirate belt on our torso, and we also have a toxic Gila monster with us. So I think 4 is good. Oh, that's barely enough for the best possible outcome. Broadcasting a menacing presence, the old badger's steel fades away and you can see fear in his eyes. Alright, here, take it all and be on your way, you thug! Seizing up with his pack of gold, he tosses it at you and demands that you leave him be now. Getting rich and not getting shot seems a fine way to have this shake out. You accept the gold and head back to the way you came, leaving the badger to his wounds. Well, we got a single prestige for that and 4 gold, so we are going to be at 10. And this is the real Kentsi. End of scene. Going to Wednesday. And going to Wednesday over here as well, and we have the Karimia's card over here, which asks us to roll the 12-sided die here, and depending on the result we get a card from the library and then delay by 2. So I can, doesn't matter what cards I get, I guess already delayed by 2 here, and then roll the 12-sided die. A 7 gets us nothing. So I think we're going to continue our journey towards Hesembi, and we could stop at Meratu. It has ranger station, but it might, well, it wouldn't make a difference because here it would be 1-2, 1-2, but of course anything can happen during our travel, so I think we are just going to go past Meratu to the next forest space. Then see what my cat is up to. As always, it's going to turn into a small, short cat video. Can see. He's usually making appearance during the streams. Cat videos are great. Can't disagree with that. But we can go back here and Kenji can stick with us for a while. So going to return the event, draw us a new one. And for this it asks if we are shocked. We are not. So we're going to pick the forest one, which is 239. You there, come forward! An elderly star-nosed mole calls out for you. She's squatting next to a wooden crate under a bent and gnarled oak. No other travelers are currently with you this deep into the forest, so you step over roots and fallen rotten logs to the mole's side. She grins and taps her claws against the box. You seem like a brave and seasoned soul. I propose to you a challenge. The ultimate test of wisdom and courage. Would you be willing to accept? The offer seems a bit eccentric, as does the location it is being hosted in, but it could be an interesting experience. You just need to close your eyes and tell me when you're ready. We do not have the cover dice deck. We have 3 options. We can accept but observe the area first, which is hard perception. Our spyglass does give us a single success in observing, so it would get us 1, so it would need 2 more. And we could accept but figure out her plan first, which is medium knowledge. We are not good at figuring out, especially because we do not have any knowledge skill marks anymore. Or we could simply refuse the challenge. Anton is giving a vote for accept but figure out. So let's pick that and remove that die. And yep, those are the dice that we are going to roll. That's a single success. We're really hoping for 2. None of our items help. Neither does Karimia. So let's reroll. Frankie is a little bit late saying observe, and we have better dice. And we would also have our spyglass, but it's too late now. Let's just hope our reroll gets us 2 or more. Still just at 1. So this one. Bustling together what she might be up to, she gives you a confident grin. You feel as if she honestly wants you to unlock your true potential. You close your eyes and tell her that you are ready. Excellent, now concentrate on the universe as a whole. You are not sure what she means, but while focusing on it, something cold tightly wrapped around your leg, then rummaging through your pockets. After hours of waiting in silence, you finally look to see what is going on. The mole is gone. Her crate is empty. A ball and chain is connected to your leg. You might be a few gold short too. This must be the test. You are determined to move forward and best this handicap shackled to your leg. Well, Frank is saying that we are probably getting robbed. That's what it seems to be. So we lose 3 gold, we have 10, so we are going down to 7. There goes our money. And we're given 61. 61 and 214. And then that's the end of scene. And what we got is determined from the test. No matter what kind of hardships await, you feel like you can take it all with the strength and vigor of 3 spectacle pairs. In any skill check, we may discard this to get a single success, and if we are afraid, we can return both this and afraid. Return the event, and then we also got our reward for the test: ball and chain. In a famous court case, a fox avoided jail by arguing how lesser misconduct should mean lesser decrease in mobility. And in a settlement, we may spend 6 gold to discard this, or we may simply wait until the end of game to discard it as well. And it has this verb box, but because it's red, it's mandatory. So these brown verb boxes like these are optional, and we can use them if we wish to, but these red ones, we do not. If we can use them, we must use them. So if we sneak, fight, climb or run, we get a 1 failure. Well, it's kind of harder to do any of those with a metal ball connected to our leg. So that was the ultimate test of courage and wisdom. Moving to Thursday, here and here. We can still move 2 spaces towards Hesembi. Pick a event card, and we can. It's not Wednesday, it's Thursday, and we are in hills, so 65. 65. As you traverse the relaxing hillside slopes with their gentle breezes and rolling greens, you come upon an exhausted red panda lying next to a hole in the ground and waving a shovel in frustration. "I've been digging for hours," pants the panda, who introduces herself as Chaiwai. She leads your gaze down to their old rusty chest half buried at the bottom of the hole. "It's exactly where the treasure map said it would be," she wails, "but I didn't expect it to be locked." Chaiwai rubs her whiskers nervously. "If you help me open it, I'll share what's inside with you. I just don't want my afternoon to have gone to waste. Oh, but do be careful, the contents are probably fragile." Lucky tag. We do not have a lucky tag, no. We have 3 options. We can try to unlock the chest. Medium thievery. Let's see if I can make room, as we are gathering quite a lot of statuses for us. So we have Karimi is with us, helping with if we communicate. Not doing that right now. We have our determinate status, so we can in any skill check we can get a single success. And our lovely ball and chain, and which would make sneaking, fighting, climbing and running harder. We are not doing any of those right now, fortunately. So do we have any unlock or device? None of our items help with those, so we only have determination, and our skill marks for unlocking are quite good and not quite as good for the device. Anton is saying that we might want to unlock. Let's do this and we get to use our new and shiny thievery die. and also our might die. We haven't used those a lot in this game. So we are looking for the thievery icon, and we got none. So just going to reroll everything in hopes of getting better stuff. That's a 1. So we're sitting at 1, which is a failure in a medium one. So we might want to now use our determined status to get a single more. So we would get two successes. If you don't mind, I think I'd suggest us to do that. Yeah, Anton is agreeing to use the determined status. 61, going to return it like that, and now we are sitting at 2. So let's reveal the outcomes, and between 2 and 4. It takes some doing, but with your tools you manage to jimmy the lock, and with our determination. Chai-Wai gasps with delight as she runs her paws along the relics and dusty gadgets within the chest, her face beaming with joy. She throws you one of the items. You can have this as your thank you. She laughs before beginning to stuff the remaining objects into a sack. Enjoy! So we get an item, or not item, but a card. 43, which is an item. And that would be it. And let's see here. We've got a rare artifact, which is value 12. And if we convince, we may discard this to get 3 successes, so we can basically bribe someone with a really expensive gift. What do you think? Do we want to keep this? We don't have room right now, so we would have to get rid of either our crowbar, spyglass, or pirate belt if we choose to keep the rare artifact. Kind of torn, because we did use our determination to get it, but we do have quite nice items with us, so we haven't been able to use the crowbar so far. We have used pirate belt. I think we have not used spyglass, but we could have used it at least once already. So I suggest that we either keep the rare artifact or replace the crowbar. There's someone playing with the dice. And Anton is saying throw away the cheapest one. Yeah, the crowbar is the cheapest one, and Frank is agreeing. So that was the legendary treasure of White Fang. We don't need that anymore. And we are going to move to Friday, and same here. And with this, it's the Karimia one again. We are going to roll the die, and it's 1, and with 1 we are going to take 52 from the library. And well, Karimia's text does say that Karimia's biting affection is as cute as it is painful, and we just got the taste of Karimia's affection by getting wounded. You've seen better days. Best course of action would probably be to avoid physical strain or get taken care of by a medical professional. If we do a thievery, might, or survival skill check, we get 1 failure. And at the settlement, we may spend 3 to hasten this by 1, so we would get a little bit better faster. and then we are going to delay Karimia by 2. Let's take some, where I can find 2 identical. Here's 2 mongooses, so it's 3, so it's all the way to Monday, which won't be happening in this game. And then we may travel to Hesembi, and we are going to take our scene here from Karimia's vacation, which is visit the theater, and scene number 48. And this is the second to last of our turns before end of the game. 48. Here. "We're here," says Karimia, his tongue flicking in and out excitedly as the Gila monster adores the theater. Outside the box office, you spot a quokka and a honey patcher arguing over tickets, Sarivarian merchants judging by their clothes. Sensing opportunity, Karimia calms the pair down, assuring them that he can help with tickets. "As payments for the service my friend here is about to deliver, I have few business proposals." The merchants shrug and accept, telling that the only open seats are located at the balconies, but they're reserved for distinguished guests. We do not have a fancy tag, unfortunately. We have 3 options. We can either bribe the ticket vendor, which is 5 gold. We have 7, so that would be still okay. We can intimidate the ticket vendor, which is hard communication, and for that Karimia would help us to intimidate, so we have 1 already, and our pirate belt also gives us 1 success and 2 rerolls, and neither ball and chain or wounded hurts us if we try to intimidate. And final option would be to steal into the queue and steal tickets, and for sneaking our spyglass gives us a single reroll, but our ball and chain gives us a single failure for sneaking. It's a bit harder to do that, and wounded gives us a second failure, so we are wounded and connected to a ball and chain, so sneaking I think is out of the question, so either bribe or intimidate. Anton is giving a vote for intimidate, so let's pick that and swap out the dice. Those are our communication dice. That's already 5. And then the pirate belt gives us 2, we can reroll 2 dice, so let's see if you can get even more, so I don't think we need more. Well, we did, we are extremely intimidating with our ball and chain, blood over all our face with the wounded as Karimia beat us, and we are telling the ticket vendor basically that Karimia will do the same thing for them if he don't give us the tickets. And of course we have the pirate belt still on us, so we're quite the look at the moment. So how many do we have? 6, 7, we have 8 successes for the intimidation. Karimia alongside, you co-talk with the vendor and relaxed nude suited in a nice uniform. In addition to other threats, you tell the vendor that a bite of your Gila monster friend can send anyone to a hospital for a month. And we wouldn't want that, would we? Karimia adds. The nude, visibly shivering, starts to go through his list of seats. The best I can do is 4 VIP seats on the balcony. Please don't bite me. You all have a phenomenal time, and Karimia is clearly getting along famously with the 2 merchants. Karimia looks to you. Thank you, my friend. Such an auspicious start to my vacation. Are you ready for what comes next? With such success under your belt, you say that you're ready for anything. We get 2 prestige, going to 6. We return the Karmia's Vacation 139 to the library. 139. We give given 61. We are given 112. And the partner will also get stuff, but we did not have a partner, so that's the end of scene. Let's move to Saturday here and on the game board. And what we got, a familiar card, Determinate. So again, we can use it in any skill check to get 1 success. And we also got Karmia's Vacation Part 2. I must see halls of wonder with my very own eyes. We already have 280, that's Karmia over here. And this time, if we would have to go through this route over here to Rienstone, if we want to keep continuing with Karmia's Vacation. So now we have one final turn before end of game. Do you have suggestions on what you would want to do? We can either take a hill event over here, for example. We can visit docks, theater, mines, or market. But if I remember correctly, all of those are still a work in progress, so I'd recommend against that. So basically 2 options, either a hill event or a settlement event that we could take from here. So either of those. And Frankie is asking for the theater, and unfortunately it's quite unfinished yet. So the closest thing to that is basically an event at a settlement, and we haven't taken one of those, so let's do that. So we are here, we decide not to move at all, and we take an event card, and first it tells us if it's Sunday, well, it's Saturday, so quite close but not. So the settlement is 210. So let's take that one and return this. This is a previous one, return that. 210. Turning off into an alley, you see a heavyset mongoose toting a suitcase and nervously looking about. Unaware of your presence, he forces open a window above a door to a hotel room and tries to pull himself up to it. Due to his heftier body, it ends in a failed attempt. You ask him whose room he is climbing into. The mongoose reeks in startle and looks at you with wide rattled eyes. When he gets a second to breathe, he tells you it's his. I'm Kamena. I left my keys and shoes in there. You recommend that he should ask the hotel manager to help. But that will take too much time. Besides, this is not the first time I have made this mistake, he admits with a blush but keeping an eye on his pocket watch. Seems fishy. We do not have footwear. Our ball and chain is the closest thing to footwear right now. We can either unlock the door for Kamena if we decide to trust him, and unlocking we have -1 from our wounded status, and that's about it for unlocking. We can try to intimidate Kamena to tell the truth, which is easy, and as previously, Pilot Wealth and Karmia would help us in intimidation, or we could just leave him be. And Frank is saying intimidate. That's what we are falling back to time and time again. And I don't blame you with our items and our skill marks why we would not want to intimidate people. Okay, that's again 5. And let's reroll 2 with the pirate belt. Did not get more, so we are sitting at 5, 6, 7, and I don't think we need to use our determination to get an 8. So let's go with 7. Seems like Kamena is quite an easy mongoose to intimidate. Kamena's breath escapes as you terrify him. He must be telling the truth, as anyone with bad intents wouldn't get so frightened. You climb up the frozen mongoose and stand on top of him to reach the window more easily. Once in the room, you unlock the door from the inside. Kamena meanders into the room and sits on the bed. With shaking hands, he puts on the shoes next to the bed and digs out an item which he pushes along with some gold onto you. In unclear stutters, he says something about "please don't hurt me" before he wobbles out the door. You are not sure what happened, but you think you helped? Well, we got 4 money. We are at 11. Like that. And we get the card number 21. Frank is saying that they love that each time we intimidate someone, they give us money. Please don't hurt me. Kamena gave us a blindfold. It has comforting and lucky tags, and it would help us intimidate even more and recall if we try to remember stuff. So we would be even more intimidated with this Ocelot blindfold on our face. Now the decision is whether we want to discard our artifact, spyglass, or the pirate belt to make room for the blindfold. Frank is saying keep it. Well, based on that, I think we do not want to get rid of our pirate belt just to stack more intimidation. So either get rid of the rare artifact, which has convince, or spyglass, which is observe, explore, and sneak. The rare artifact is quite expensive with a value of 12. The artifact goes away, so like that. 43 goes here, and that was the end of that scene. And then we go finally to Sunday, and first is the Tasman Devil icon, which is on Karimia over here. So we're again going to roll the d12, and with 11 we get nothing. So then we delay it by 2. And then there's this turtle, which is over here on the global status card called Harmony, which shows that we have now take the scene number 200 to end the game and to grade our success, basically. Anton asks, are we able to sell items at the market? Yeah, we visited Arhin's market, if I remember correctly, and there we sold one of our items, and you can sell more when you visit the markets, but it takes a turn to do so. So now we are going to take the scene 200, and it's not ready yet. Basically the structure is there, but we haven't written the stories quite yet, so you can just see that it's a bunch of lorem, basically Latin placeholder text. And it's asking how many adventures were in this game. We are playing a single solo game. And then it asks how much prestige we got. And here we can see we got 6. And then we pick the one that suits our needs. And we would also have stories here, like what your ending party or something like that, but we haven't had time to write these quite yet. So it just says that unfortunately our tale will be ours alone, and we are someone. Getting more prestige would get our name more out there, but I think it's not that much about the destination, but more like the journey to get there. And definitely I had fun, and I hope you had too. And that concludes our demo for Lands of Galzyr. And the final thing I want to showcase or explain a little bit is the end of the game. So the game has a saving mechanism, and at the end of the game we resolve all save effects which are marked with this box with an arrow towards it. So in this case the ball and chain says discard. Same goes for the wounded. It says discard. And then we have on our adventure board, we have a save effect here. Take 0 from the library. And as you might remember, 0 is our special ability, Risky Intuition. So you will get that back. And then finally, June, the month card here, has a save effect, which asks us to replace this global status with 7 from the library. So this game was June, and the next game would be July, and it also would ask us to replace some locations during setup. I'm not going to do that because we're not playing another game, but it asked us to do an even more complicated stuff during July's save step. And then after doing those save effects, we basically take each adventure takes their cards, so items, companions, status cards, quests. So basically everything here. I would take all of these and place them into my own save slot in the card tray. And then after all players have taken their own cards and did that, we would take all the remaining cards, so global status cards, notice board quests, location cards from the game board, and place those in the global save slot. And then in the next game we would place them all back, and each player would take their own cards from their save slot, whichever adventure you are playing and how many players you are playing with, and basically set up the game identically, so you could continue where you left off in the previous game. Frank is saying that the game was awesome, and they enjoyed making decisions with Anton, and Anton agrees. And it was great to have you both make decisions and have fun in the game. And there's two basically different ways to save the game in the rulebook. One is like a quick save where you do just the bare minimum, and then if you want to continue playing, so basically you just do the save effects, reset the clock to the top row, reset some of these timed effects like that, and this would go like I think here in this case, and then you can decide your starting location. So I could move immediately here, for example, if I wanted to, and then you just basically start a new game, of course resetting your prestige to 0. So it's really fast and easy to play multiple games in a row if you want, or you can save it to the box and continue exactly where you left off in the previous game. It was a pleasure introducing and showing the game, Frankie. Glad to have you and Anton being so active in the chat and have fun with you. So that concludes the demo we had today for Lands of Galzyr, and I will have one final demo for AwSHUX 2021 tomorrow, and during that we are going to play with one of the adventures we did not get the chance to play yet. So yesterday's stream was AwSHUX, the River Kingfisher, and tomorrow's stream will be either Bumir, the Marble Polecat over here, or Keridai, the banded newt over here. So one of these. Maybe I can even ask during the start of the stream on which one like to play as. And the tomorrow's stream will start 1 hour earlier than today. And if you enjoy the content, you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we have a friendly Discord server. You can find links in the descriptions for both of those, and also there's a link in the description for our homepage where you can subscribe to our email newsletter if you want to know when Lands of Galzyr hits Kickstarter or GameFound, either of those crowdfunding platform, basically later this year. So again, thank you for joining the stream, and I hope you have a good fun. Thanks and bye.